Now, back to Matt Patrick and your morning news.
KTRH News Time is 8:47, and joining us right now is Pastor Dr. Robert Jeffress from Dallas. Pastor Jeffress, it is a pleasure to have you on with us here this morning. You're a busy guy.
It's been pretty wild the last few days.
Did you want all of this attention? I mean, have you decided that being a public figure is not for you?
I've been a public figure for a long time. You know, we have a TV program on 1,200 TV stations and 600 radio stations, so we're used to it.
All right.
But trust me, I don't need any more public attention.
Well, let me ask you this, and if we open up the Bible and we look at Matthew 7. And I know that you're as familiar with this as anyone. We are told not to judge, or we will be judged. But indeed, that is what you did. You've judged the Mormon religion. You've said that you believe it is a theological cult. I believe you kind of redefined what you were talking about. Does that not fly in the face of what the Bible tells us to do?
No, it has absolutely nothing to do. Obviously, Jesus wasn't saying you never perform any kind of judgment at all. This morning I made a judgment to have a red tie instead of a purple tie on. I can make all kind of judgments. What it's talking about is a condemning kind of judgment to make yourself look better than others. When I talk about Mormonism not being a part of historical Christianity, that's just a verifiable fact. It came 1,800 years after Christianity was established. It has its own human founder, Joseph Smith. It has its own book of Revelation, the Book of Mormon. It is not a part of Christianity. And by the way, yesterday, USA Today cited a poll that said 3 out of 4 Protestant pastors agree with my position that Mormonism is not Christianity. I'm not offended when if somebody were to say to me Christians aren't Mormons. Why would people be offended when they say that Mormons aren't Christians? It's not saying they don't love their mother, apple pie, or the flag. It's just saying they're not a part theologically of Christianity.
Now, let me ask you this, Dr. Jeffress, and again, I thank you for your time here. Do you feel that you've hurt Governor Perry in any way? I know that was not your intention, but do you feel that in retrospect maybe it was best to leave your opinions to the pulpit?
Well, listen, first of all, in my introduction of Governor Perry, I didn't use the word Mormonism, cult, or even Mitt Romney. I talked about why I felt like, to the group I was speaking to, evangelical Christians, Rick Perry was a preferable choice, not just because of the fact that he was a born-again follower of Christ, but I said he is a conservative out of conviction rather than one out of convenience. When I finished that introduction, I walked off the platform out into the ballroom, and I was rushed by reporters, and a reporter asked me the question about Mormonism, what I believed about Mormonism, and how that began. And listen, I'm not a politician or a pundit. I'm a pastor, and when as a pastor I'm asked to talk about spiritual issues, I'm going to tell the truth no matter how politically incorrect it is. My agenda here is not primarily to get Rick Perry elected. My agenda is to speak the truth of the Bible.
And Pastor, I appreciate your time with us this morning, and if you would hang on just a moment, my co-host here, Lois Malconian, I want to ask you a question or two, and I would like to also talk to you a little bit about Mitt Romney and your thoughts on his candidacy.
You're back with more Matt Patrick.
KTRH News Time is 8:52, and joining us right now is Pastor Dr. Robert Jeffress, a gentleman who has become the part of the news cycle this week, and we're happy that he took the time to join us here in Houston. And Pastor, my co-host Lois wanted to ask you a question as well. Thank you again for joining us here this morning, Lois.
Sure.
Pastor, thank you so much for coming on board with us. As a missionary kid myself, I've been steeped in this my whole life, and theologians can discuss this issue as you brought it up. But once it comes out to the general public and us lay people who don't have the tools that you have to discuss it, it almost becomes a fight. And it does become a fight between Christians and Mormons as they try to stake out who's who.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you're absolutely true, and there are a lot of people out there who don't understand the issues, and quite frankly, a lot who don't care about it,
right.
And that's fine. But, to religious people, religion matters, and I'm actually doing an op-ed piece later today about faith matters in this election, and again, I was on several talk shows yesterday where the talk show host insinuated that somehow it's unconstitutional to use religion as a test of a religious candidate, and they cited articles Article 6 of the Constitution. Well, that is so ridiculous. Article 6 says government cannot impose a religious litmus test, but certainly individuals can. And a lot of people, the issue of Mormonism, Christianity, that's not an issue in this election. That's fine. But I was talking to evangelical Christians, and I said, for us, it really does matter what a candidate believes, because a candidate's faith does impact every other area of his life if he's a true believer in whatever faith he says he believes in.
So, Pastor,
I think it's a relevant discussion for us to have.
I totally agree, but take that one step further. Are you saying then a Christian, an evangelical Christian, cannot vote for Mitt Romney, a Mormon?
I've never said that. In fact, I've said just the opposite in the national press. I've said that if it comes down to a choice between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, most likely I'll vote for Mitt Romney. I think it's probably preferable to have a non-Christian like Mitt Romney who at least embraces biblical principles than to have a professing Christian like Barack Obama who upholds unbiblical standards like abortion.
All right. You know what, Pastor? It is, you're a gentleman that has kind of gotten yourself into a discussion, as Lois has suggested, that a lot of people have difficulty discussing outside of their own church. And it is a discussion that a lot of people are having. We'll see tonight, I'm sure, Governor Perry say something or other to, I assume he's going to kind of distance himself from you a little bit, don't you think?
Well, I hope he does. The fact is, just because I've endorsed Rick Perry doesn't mean Rick Perry endorses everything I say or believe. And that's fine. He needs to stick to the political issues tonight, and I think there are a lot of reasons to prefer a conservative out of conviction like Rick Perry over a conservative out of convenience like Mitt Romney.
Pastor Robert Jeffress, not shying away from coming on with us here today, and we certainly do appreciate it. And I wish you an awful lot of luck, and I hope to have you back on. You're a guy that speaks very well, and we enjoy your thoughtful intellect here on the program.
Well, thanks so much for having me, guys. Have a great day.
You too.